Hi, this is Steve Urbach, and I'm doing a presentation on how to use a stored procedure from SQL Server in an Excel refreshable workbook, which I'm calling a Refex, just for short, refreshable Excel workbook, using data from Microsoft Dynamics GP. A couple of housekeeping things first. This presentation is being done at 1600 by 900 resolution, so it may look a little blurry if you blow it up to 1920 by 1080. But I'm trying to make the video a little smaller because this will last a little while. I figure this is going to be a good 30 minutes for the whole thing. Okay, what you see here, by the way, my desktop background is the Google Maps 3D satellite view of the Tampa Convention Center. That's where the GPUG Summit is going to be held in mid-October this year, 2016. And I'll be staying over here at the Tampa Marriott Waterside Hotel. I'm recording this on May 1st. As of right now, both the Marriott and the Embassy Suites across the street from the convention center, they're booked solid, so just saying. Okay, some additional housekeeping. The first part of this presentation was done in a blog that I'd done on gpug.com. Here's the address for it, but you can look for the blogs this way on gpug.com. Go to blogs and then my name with a hyphen in between, and then that'll bring you to the list of blogs that I've made, and the one that we're talking about here is the one at the top. It says 15 days ago. I wish it would say the date, but this was done in mid-April. Okay, so this blog entry showed the first part of how to make a refreshable Excel workbook using a stored procedure. The main thing that we did in this blog entry was to alter the existing stored procedure that you have as part of your Dynamics installation. It's called SEERM HATB SRS wrapper. That stored procedure has got 32 parameters, and it also has a large number of fields that in this blog entry I stripped away to make a modified version of this stored procedure. And here is the query right towards the bottom of the blog, the query that is placed in the stored procedure, the new one that we made, that cuts away some of the fields and inserts a few new ones. The new ones have to do with setting up different aging brackets. Rather than the standard 30, 60, 90, it sets up aging brackets for current, meaning current based on the payment terms for customers in the receivables management. So any invoice that's still current would include those invoices where the terms are 15 days, 45 days, 60 days, doesn't matter. They're still shown as current. And then the remaining columns go between 1 and 30 days past due, 31 and 60 days past due, 61 to 90, and then over 90. So we'll have a total of 5 columns, which will aid in doing an aging based on the terms. So that query is there, and then at the bottom I say we'll move on to part 2. But this is not going to be a blog entry. It's a video log entry. Okay, so go there, you get the details about the query itself. I have it here in SQL Server Management Studio. This is the query, or the stored procedure that we created. I called it TERM as a prefix name for this stored procedure. Term referring, of course, to terms, customer terms, while leaving the rest of the name. This procedure is the same as the standard one that you get with GP. Really, the only difference is that I've stripped out some of the fields and put in those new fields for aging calculations. The top of the procedure here, I modified it so that we could have a convenient list of the parameters in order 1 through 32, so that when we get to Excel, we know which parameter we're talking about. So I'm going to leave that up on screen for a moment. Let's see. I've made an Excel workbook. I'm using the 2010 version of Excel. This process works for 2010, 2013, and forward, but I wanted to step back a little bit. I use 2013 on my laptop, but just to show you that this process will work for several versions of Excel. One other thing to mention: this presentation I'm making will not focus on SQL security or on data source name creation or ODBC creation. Get some help from your IT guys or from your GP partner to make sure that you have appropriate access to the SQL data, to the queries that we're talking about here. And they'll be able to fix you up. All right, let us go. I'm starting with a fresh workbook, and the idea here is that instead of using a view, which is the normal way, when you're in GP, you've got a whole long list of Excel reports, as they're called in GP, and each one of them is based on a view, which is a query in SQL that doesn't include any parameters. The historical age trial balance, HATB, has that list of 32 parameters that I showed you here, and it's not simple nor intuitive to set up an Excel workbook that uses those parameters. Just getting them into the darn thing, it takes some time, it takes some precision. So I'll walk you through it step by step. You'll see me do it. I've done this many times now, and I almost have got memorized what each one of these 32 parameters are, but for our purposes here, they're numbered easily. But we'll have a worksheet that contains the raw data from the query, and we'll have a tab that will have the parameters on it, and we'll have a tab that has a pivot table to make the summarization of the data that we see in the raw table a little easier to work with. Now, this series is going to be broken up into multiple pieces. I should have said that at the outset. I did say half an hour at least, but I'm going to make these things a little shorter so that they're more bite-sized on YouTube. So this will end the first part. It's an introductory part, and we'll move on to the actuals here in just a moment, in part 2.